And let's talk about Sherri Shepherd. So, we go from one topic to another regarding the whole epic TV drama. So it looks like the door is officially closed regarding the friendship between, and this is another story from Rob Shooter, who has been keeping tabs on this whole story. So shout out to him. But yeah, it looks like, the door is officially closed on their friendship. Yeah, I got that from the Housewives of Atlanta. Shout out to Nene, because she was like, the door is closed. So, according to Shooter Scoop, Sherri Shepherd's glitter soaked 500th episode was supposed to be all joy, confetti, applause, and a studio packed to the rafters. But fans couldn't help noticing the one person missing from the milestone celebration, former EP and self declared BFF, Jawn Murray. And insiders say that absence wasn't accidental. Now, sources reveal that Sherri has cut all ties permanently after a wave of new allegations about Murray surfaced following his season 4 firing. While Murray kept telling people he and Sherri were still close, insiders claimed she had no idea what had allegedly been happening behind the scenes. When it all came out, she was devastated, embarrassed, and honestly betrayed, one staffer spills. Yeah, so I know a lot of people are confused because it was like, what is going on with him? Like, why was he fired? And they were saying that there was some harassment type of stuff. There was some bullying, some hostile behavior, and there was also an infamous bathroom video that HR was looking into. So after he was removed from the show, they said that he tried to claim discrimination only for his own lawyers to allegedly tell him he had no case. So it's like if you out here doing so, it's kind of like when I heard somebody say this in my comments, I believe it might have been on TikTok, but it was saying, you know what? Sometimes you gotta leave people where they're at. I know, like when you're in a certain position where it's like, yeah, I finally made it on my own after all this blood, sweat, and tears I've been putting into my career and the hard work that I put in and the hustling and all the other stuff that I've done. And it's like, yeah, as a loyalist, you want to bring some of your people up with you. So that was like, we all, we shine together. We gonna do all these other things together. Like sometimes I feel like that way too. I don't know if it's a sense of guilt when you feel like, yeah, you want to bring some of those people that's down at the bottom that kind of been there with you from the beginning when you were struggling, a struggling comic or whatever the case is. You want to bring those people up with you. But then sometimes you got to look at the situation as it's like, I'm here and I'm trying to get you here, but you here. And it's like I can't keep trying to bring you get up there. Like you trying to get them up there, and then like regardless of how you try to get them up here, they still down here. And sometimes you got to leave them down there because it's like they're not going to meet you where you're at. And I've had to learn that over the years. That when I've had to deal with a lot of people, is like when I've evolved in things, whether it's career or the things that I was doing back when I was younger, and you still in that same spot, and it's like I'm ready to move on, evolve, whatever, and you still want to be down there. It's like but I gotta cut ties. And so I literally realize that what that is you're starting to age out of whether it's friendships, relationships, careers, whatever those things are. I feel like that's what that is. And that could have been with this situation. Sherri tried to bring up one of her good friends. John been with her since back when she was at The View, and she tried to bring him over there to the Sherri Shepherd show. But I've never felt that he was a good fit with her when he was over there trying to be her Norman to Wendy Williams. I just didn't feel like that he fit in that whole situation. And I guess with all of this other stuff that was going on, with all people filing complaints against him and HR having to get involved, and how Sherri had no idea what's going on her show, it always goes to show there's an ongoing theme of a lot of these celebrities have no idea what's going on in their show. Ellen apparently didn't know what the hell was going on and behind the scenes of her show. Kelly Clarkson, when there was a story going on where there was things that was going on, it was the job, it was a hostile work environment, and she had no idea what was going on. And said, "Okay, now that I know, I'm gonna get to the bottom of it." And now Sherri Shepherd is going through it. So it's like, what is going on with these people behind the scenes? Where it's like, okay, I understand I got a lot on my plate. Yes, I am the face of this show, but you have to realize when your name is in the marquee, I definitely need to be knowing what the hell's going on in regards of in the workforce. But then again, it is good if you leave that up to HR to handle because a lot of times I got a lot going on. I got to worry about what topics we gonna cover. Because here's the thing: I have an army of one with this show, so you can imagine how stressful it is trying to put a bunch of topics together, coming up with the pictures, coming up with the lower third, the headlines, and all the stuff. And even when I'm in the moment now of talking about these topics, I don't know what the hell was going to come out of his mouth when I'm covering this topic. Hence why we call the show Chris Avalon Unfiltered. But nevertheless, it's like, can you imagine, like, when you an army of one trying to do a show, how you got thousands of people that you're employing that have to handle so many different things? I don't have time to be sitting over here worrying about every single minute detail of what's going on. And especially when you're a single mom and you're raising a kid, I ain't got time to be worrying about what's going on behind the scenes. That's why HR is there. And let them handle it. Or the producers or whoever else the hires up, they got to handle all that. But people don't look at it that way. They look at it as like, okay, Sherri Shepherd's name is on the marquee. They think they know who Sherri is because she's on our TV screens. So it's her fault in whatever situation. So then they also say it didn't stop there. Now, sources claim Murray's been working the phones trying to turn black celebs and media against Sherri. Even as whispers grow about certain handsome staffers, he was reportedly, child, not them saying that he was fixated on male staffers. Robert, Mr. Shooter, are we pulling Miss Murray out the closet? I mean, why does this kid look at that picture? If that man ain't giving queen, butch queen, category is butch queen, first time in man drag at a ball, which I'm looking at the category. But it was like, child, we all know that's a big old woman. I was trying to say like Al Reynolds, woman. So, or as I like to call, or as we used to call him back in the Al, you doing Reynolds. But anyway, so yeah, they said that. I'm like, yeah, wow, oh look, that's messy. I'm here for it. Now, meanwhile, Sherri, calm, classy, unfazed. She celebrated her 500, sorry, episode and her brand new Hollywood Walk of Fame star, Surrounded by Love, with absolutely no mention of Murray. Now, a brutal breakup, a stronger show, and a goodbye that insiders say is blessedly permanent. Well, like I said, he the one that messed up. You had an opportunity to come along with her and still have the great successful career, but you had to realize this Sherri Shepherd show, this is Sherri's moment. This ain't your moment. So you decide to come in and make her moment your moment. And you thought because that's your friend, that's your ace boon coon, that you was going to just run around and treat people and act the way that you was going to act on that show with no kind of repercussions. But the people that work over there at Sherri Shepherd show said, no, sir. You gonna learn today who's really in charge. And this is out of Sherri's hands. So if you was out here doing things allegedly, according to this report, that is out of character and put a lot of people in harm's way based off of your behavior and made people uncomfortable, then you got to suffer the consequences. So hopefully your career will bounce back. But quiet as it's kept, don't nobody care about Jawn outside of Sherri. If this story is to be believed. But so shout out to you for this story over there at Shoot a Scoop. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of, yeah, Sherri officially closing the door on her relationship with Jawn? So whatever your thoughts are on this whole situation, let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.